Kia ora koutou, ko Jill Farquharson tuku and a very warm welcome to you all. Lovely to have you join us this afternoon. We're just going to start first of all with karakia tātou. Ko te kawa o ranga, ko te kawa o raro, ko te kawa ora, ko te kawa ora. E rongo whakaerehia ki runga, turuturu au whiti, whakamau ki a tina, huie, tai ki e. Thank you so much for joining us. School bell's gone. It's after 3, so you've got a quick half hour with us listening to some of your colleagues, and then we'll have a Q&A afterwards, and you will be out of the school gate by 4:15, around about 4:15. So please do make sure that you have got yourself on mute today and that you are sitting back with your cup of tea ready to hear from some very, very special people. So the purpose of this afternoon's event is to give you an opportunity just to hear from your colleagues. Perhaps you're a teacher that's aspiring to be a leader, or you're an emerging leader already that's picked up a team leader's job or a APDP role. And we're just going to give you a little bit of an insight today into how your peers have managed their leadership journey and they have transitioned into these roles. As experienced practitioners, they are going to share a few answers with you and maybe answer some of your wonderings and even challenge you a little bit about leadership when you hear about their journey. The good, the bad and the ugly, I'm sure you'll hear tonight. And I'm hoping what they might do is just raise a few more questions for you than answers, because that really is the test of a reflective practitioner, is to have more questions. So the format for this afternoon, as I mentioned previously, is we do have a set of questions. They're just 3 very simple sets of questions. The first one is an opening question, which I'll be giving all the panel members around some career advice. And then I'll move into some questions around their professional role and how they moved into that position. And then, because all 3 panel members have undertaken additional study, we'll also ask them some questions about how they managed this along with their career establishment or their career goals and aspirations. How did they fit it all in? And then finally, we will round off with a closing question about career development. That should take half an hour, and I've got a timekeeper here, so I'll make sure I stay on track. And after that, we'll just open it up for Q&A, and I'll accept your questions, and then I'll pass them to the panel, and any one of them may like to answer those questions. And that will be 15 minutes. We'll just allow 15 minutes for part of this afternoon's session. So as you can see, we have got 3 panel members, but one is missing. She will be with us shortly. She's just dealing with a situation at school that is just arisen, so it's beyond her control. So she will be with us shortly, and that's Lucy Naylor. So when she arrives, I'll just stop for a couple of minutes and do the introduction for Lucy. But we're also very, very fortunate to have 2 experienced practitioners with us. We have Steph Anich, and Steph is someone who's never left school. And I don't quite believe that, Steph, but the school is very lucky, whatever school that you were in, to have you with them. Steph took a little bit of time off to travel overseas to do her OE, and she also spent 5 years with Aero, so very well experienced. She's had some long stints in schools, 10 years obviously being the longest that she has been anywhere, and that was at Gladstone. And I can understand, Steph, why you stayed there so long. That's where I got to know Steph, and it certainly was a good school, and she was very instrumental in the development of that school, becoming very well known for innovative programs. And then the shortest time she's had in schools has been as an acting principal for 1 term at Takanini Primary School and Waihi East. She really enjoys being in schools that have got bilingual units, and she really, really likes working with colleagues who are energised by their work. When she's not at school, she has some dogs that she enjoys walking with her husband. She dines out quite often with friends. She reads thrillers, and she exercises, and she will binge watch anything. She probably didn't want me to share that with you, but she's a bit of a binge watcher. Welcome, Steph. Thank you for being one of the panel members today. Sela Afungia, a warm welcome to you. Lovely to have you, and I know you've got lots of really exciting things to share with us. Kia ora. Sela is really passionate and experienced educator. She's got over 20 years of teaching in primary education. She currently is the AP assistant principal at Mangere East, where Steph is the principal. And she leads the Tongan bilingual unit and champions cultural identity, language, and most importantly, community voice. Sela just has completed her Masters in Contemporary Education with some research where she focused on strengthening parent engagement in diverse classrooms. And the work really did reflect her belief in the importance of relationships in any educational organisation. Sela, believe it or not, is also the proud mother. You don't look old enough, Sela. The proud mum of 5 beautiful children, including a son that's got Down syndrome, and he inspires her every day with his strength, his humour, and brings a huge amount of joy to her whānau. I'm not surprised. So Sela today will bring heart, she'll bring wisdom, a sense of purpose, and a reminder that leadership doesn't always have to be perfect. It just has to be real, relationship. The first question, panel members, that I'm going to be asking, and I'm going to ask you, Steph, first of all, this question is, what's the best piece of career advice that somebody has ever given you, and how did that shape your path?
Kia ora, Jill. Lots of amazing advice, but Jill already alluded to my time at Gladstone, and I guess as a beginning teacher and the 10 years following that really stood me in good stead. So I was fortunate to have a very amazing principal, and the thing lots of things I learned from him, but the one thing that really stands out is to say yes. If people ask you something, say yes. Well, actually, that's a bit ironic, isn't it? Because Jill, you texted me and you said, Colin will say that you will say yes, and I hadn't really put connections together. But he also kind of talked about if staff come to you with an idea or something, then try to say yes and not default to maybe the no. So yeah, that's always stuck with me. So either through study, through work opportunities, where I maybe have not had the belief that I could do it, could be successful, I've just gone and go, well, other people think I can, so I will, and I'll just say yes and just do it anyway. Yeah.
A great answer, Steph. Have you ever said yes and then regretted it or thought twice about it? Can you think of any situation where that might have happened?
Well, Sela probably will go, well, we know because at school you still say yes too much when perhaps you should delegate and maybe say no. So I think maybe the yes is too ingrained and it gets me a bigger workload than perhaps I should really allow for myself. But really, I guess that's still a choice. So I don't really have a problem with that, but it is a work in progress to get a few more no's.
Thanks, Steph. And I think we'll come back to just a word that resonated with me when you were just talking then was workload. So we might just come back to that a little bit later when we're asking questions around professional questions. So Sela, what's your advice that you've been given, your best bit of career advice that you've ever been given, and how did that impact on you? Sela, you're on mute. Sela, we'll just take you off mute.
Thank you, Jill. I laugh at this question because when I was asked to, when I wanted to do my master's and being offered a scholarship to do it, I was saying to myself, I can't do this. I've been teaching for over 20 years. I haven't studied.
Yeah.
But then when I was talking to one of the panel from X Academy, she said to me, Sela, don't wait until you don't wait until you feel ready. Just lean into the challenge. You might just grow through it or with it. So at the time, like what I said, I was hesitant. on doing that project, and or anything that pushed me out of my comfort zone, like what Steph did with me to do this. But that advice reminds me that growth comes during the process. It's not before it. So with that advice has been a constant reminder to me that leadership isn't just about having all the answers. It's all about being willing to learn, serve, and take the next step forward.
So, Sela, that's actually a really good answer, because you've got some people probably that have joined us today that are thinking at this stage of doing some additional study, and I know that we've got some questions around that in the second part of this here. But it was a little bit of a did you feel in terms of risk taking that it was manageable for you when you said yes?
To be honest, I couldn't see the end of the tunnel. I was just living at the moment, knowing, I have a family, I have, a job, a full-time job at the time. How am I going to do this, with a family and a Down syndrome son?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what I said, yes, I have grown through it, the challenges. Yeah.
You're a great role model, Sela. You really are. So yeah, congrats to you. Accolades to you. We'll just move on to the questions now, just around professional working and how you've managed that in terms of your career. Steph, can you just tell me, and this is I don't know if you got the answer to this, I don't know if anyone's got it, is how on earth do you keep up to date with the ever-changing landscape in schools at the moment? And we know there's been a lot thrown at you in the last little while, let alone prior to that. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I think with experience the time and the position, my answer maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago would be quite different. I think I learned the slow way from Colin is actually just do it, like do what you think is right with your staff and with your kids, and not necessarily, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, should I? Exactly what the ministry or the government says. So I think your school and your kids, and you make it work. So there is a lot being thrown at us at the moment, and I think we are all, I don't know, I can't really speak for Sela, but generally I have the feeling, and definitely for me, it is overwhelming. Again, the experience does help, that it's going to be okay, you just one day at a time, or plan it, having the team around you and planning. Yeah, so I think for me at the moment, with all the stuff that's going on, I am slightly annoyed about it, because I feel like it is a bit of shuffling chairs, and it's a lot of effort to shuffle these chairs. But I have to believe that actually the outcome for the kids will be good, and we will make the outcome
good, yeah.
better for the kids. The other thing with the workload, or managing the challenges, I don't know if this is a study question or a professional question, just the professional, but people who have studied more recently, I know I was the one who kind of, I've got to put 100% effort or more in. And not that I had to get the A, but I felt like I had to do the best. I come away and go, I did the best I can. Whereas now my attitude is, you're there for the learning, not necessarily the certificate or the diploma or whatever it is. You're there for the learning, and do it so that you learn, but you don't have to kill yourself over this. It's not the end of the world if you get a C-, as long as you get over the line. So aim high, have high expectations, but balance it with, if you have with your family, your friends, your job, it's only a part of it, but do it for the learning, the love of learning. And I think Sela will know podcasts are your friend, and email read it in the car. So I have in the car, go, yeah, okay. And then I put on podcasts about structured literacy, about all sorts of things that are kind of on top, and that helps me just keep in the loop.
Great little tips there, because it is a big workload. And just going back to what you said at the start of your answer, where you said 15 years ago you wouldn't have done that. Why wouldn't you have done it like you do it now? I mean, I know experience is one part of it, but what was it that made you a little bit more apprehensive, perhaps, or?
Well, I think I am a rule follower and a people pleaser. So, you know, if the ministry or whoever says you do this, I go, okay. And then you have to learn how to do it. And so particularly in a principal or any new role that you have, you know, a team leader, deputy principal or whatever the new role is, I kind of just go, yep, follow the rules, do that. Whereas now I go, okay, I'm going to make the rules work for me or us.
Okay, good.
And yeah, but that took experience and confidence, I guess, to grow that. You know, now when I talk to the ministry or ERO or whoever, it's like they just call, you know, they're on the same level. Whereas I think before I kind of was like, oh.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's very real for a lot of people that are aspiring leaders. Is that they're, you know, there's almost a level of distance because they don't feel they can talk to them, you know, on the same level because
Don't
they
want to put your
see them as,
school in trouble because you've done the wrong thing. Whereas now it's like, oh well, I'll apologize later, and then they're both.
yeah, exactly. Ask for forgiveness.
Yes.
Sela, thanks, Steph. Sela, would you be able just to give me a little bit of an idea as to how because you said you've just finished your studying, got your post, you know, you got your master's in contemporary education. How's the learning, what part has the learning played in your leadership development, and how has that helped you in your career aspirations? How has it helped you get where you are now, which is a pretty important role? You are the nuts. The APs and the DPs are the nuts and bolts of the school. You live and breathe the school. Steph, with all due respect, probably more so than you. You're on the ground. How did this study help you with that?
I have to say, through my masters, I didn't just gain knowledge. You know, I gained clarity, confidence, and understanding of what kind of a leader that I want to be. My research into parent engagement in diverse classrooms opened my eyes, you know, to the real power of relationships and voices in education. It made me reflect more critically on our systems, and it helped me lead change with purpose. It also taught me to think deeper and bigger. It gave me the study and the tool, you know, postgraduate master gave me the tools, but it also gave me time to pause and reflect, and of course to grow. It reminds me that leadership is learning and that our growth as leader is just as important as the growth that we seek for our students.
Great answers. I love that digging deeper, because so often we get so busy in schools that it's that surface level that you just got to keep going. So that's really good to hear. And I just love the way that it's impacted on your role, not only as a classroom teacher, but also your community, the whānau, and then your school colleagues. So it's certainly music to our ears anyway. It's really interesting that we've talked a little bit about we've asked the professional questions, but throughout that whole time, weaved through that has come through your study, you know, how you've learnt more, how you've broadened your outlook, your understandings. So it's almost like there's a connect there that you just can't help. So now we move into the study questions. Some of them have been answered, because that's the nature of the beast, is that you're a lifelong learner. Once you're in a position of leadership, you are learning all of the time. And what I've heard from both of you that is really refreshing for leadership is that, you know, you're never afraid to say that you didn't get it right or it's not perfect, and that is so refreshing in the leadership space. So yeah, certainly we're in good hands having people like you in our schools. So just a couple more questions now around the study. and then we'll move into the final section. Just Sela, since we were talking with you, and this fits really nicely, it segues into the next question. Looking back, which is easy now, what was the hardest part or the hardest thing about choosing to study, and what made it worth it? What was the hardest bit about, oh, can I do it?
Yeah. The hardest part, about choosing to study was permitting myself to put time and energy into myself. As a leader, a teacher, a parent, or someone that deeply committed to go to my community, I was used to putting others first. I served them. But to do that, to do my study, I have to focus on myself. And taking on the master's degree felt like a big ask. Time away from family, late nights, pressure of balancing it all up. And I questioned whether I could easily, how can I do this? How can I really manage this? But what made it worth was realizing that my investing in myself was actually investing in my students as well, and my school and my community. It's not just for me. The growth I experienced personally and professionally helped me lead with more clarity and confidence, and of course, purpose. I became more reflective and more research informed and more courageous in driving change.
Great, that's great answer.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
No,
it was worth every moment, because now I lead not just with experience, but with insight and evidence and stronger sense why I do what I do.
Sela, I can tell that you lead with heart too, and I'm sure that's something that Steph, as your principal, would really, really appreciate, and you'll be a huge asset to the school. And it sounds like the study, and that's the good, bad, and the ugly times, because I'm sure there were many, as you've just talked about, has made it all worthwhile. And certainly, as I said before, a great role model. Steph, for you, what advice would you give to someone who wants to go into a leadership role and considering studying to be a vehicle for that will just give them the leg, the knowledge and the understanding, and perhaps the leg up in an interview process? What advice would you give to someone who's thinking of that?
Yeah, I think pretty much Sela has exemplified it all, because everything that she has talked about is the benefit. I can't imagine anybody not getting those benefits. I think there possibly are times, and maybe people listening will think, oh, my circumstances at the moment are too much. So I guess you still have to be a bit realistic about what you can do, for your own well-being and of your family. But generally, I would say just do it. Work out, get started, and then you can work backwards if you need to change your plan. But I know, I remember when I was, say, a bit getting teacher, or a bit later than that, my principal and DP kind of saying, if you want to be a leader moving forward, you probably do need a master's. So I think that was sown really early, that in an interview process or a CV kind of process, maybe you would be culled out by not having it. I don't know if that is true these days. I don't know if it is quite like that, but it definitely does help. I think people with extra diplomas, whatever, on their CVs, I think it tells the school, about your work ethic, about your commitment to ongoing professional learning, that you've done it at that deeper level. Because I might listen to podcasts or whatever, but it's not that formal what I remember and what I actually. Whereas when you are doing that formal study, it's that deep reflection, and when you're going back and rereading and really getting it into it deeply. So yeah, it does grow you, it does stretch you, and I think just do it and make it work.
I think
and keep the support of your principal. I think it does help, because I've done it, that when kind of Sela or whoever says, oh, I need a little bit of extra time, I go, no, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Off you go.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of emerging leaders, there is a level of self-doubt, and I think that, you know, it's quite often we never back ourselves. So at what point was there a pivotal moment or a turning point that that self-doubt, that little monkey on your shoulder, you just pushed aside and you forged ahead with it? Was there something pivotal that happened, or was it just someone you met, or?
Yeah, I think before Colin, so when I was at Teachers College, so I came from England straight into Auckland College of Education, but I had failed my, what do they call them, A-levels back in England. So I had to resit and did pass, but, you know, I had that little bit of, oh, maybe I'm not as academic as I, you know, maybe thought or whatever. Can I really do a degree? And it was Marilyn William. She was at Teachers College, and in those days you were doing a diploma. I was the last year of the diploma, and you could do extra papers at uni. And I remember saying to her, I don't know if I should sign up for any papers. And she was like, of course you should. Just do it. Get on with it. You know? And I think if she hadn't said that, who knows where I might be now. So, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of a bit sad that you have to rely on other people to kind of help you get over those lines. But I think generally in New Zealand, or the people I know, are really like that. They are just, no, get on with it, just do it. So I've had quite.
Well, it's easy to say, but not to do.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So no, I've thanked her a few times for that.
I'm sure. And
well, if I did, you know, could do it, anyone can do it.
Was there anything
all the families and all the things I had to go through, age of 60. So
Sela, was there anything though, was there any one moment other than Steph probably giving you a bit of a push that might have just got you going on it though, on your study, that said, okay, I'll do it right now, I'll enroll now?
Yeah, because I have been teaching for over 20 years, you know, you sort of like, oh yeah, I know it all, you know. And then I came to this role as a assistant principal. There are so many things that I need to learn, and I thought, no, I'm bored. I wanna explore things. I wanna do things. You know, I wanna know more. So that's what's the drive. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's awesome answers. Thank you so much. And I can just see that we've just got Lucy coming in now. So warm welcome to her event. Obviously has finished. Lucy, kia ora, warm welcome. Catch your breath, it's okay, no problems. And you probably need to go off mute.
Yes, right.
Lucy, we've gone through the questions, so kia ora, welcome for a start.
I am so sorry, but I think it's probably a good lesson in leadership.
Oh, okay, well, we'll leave it there. You don't need to share, but what we have talked about with Steph and Sela is just their journey as leaders into the positions that they're holding, and just how the study has helped them or not. But the good news is that it did, the good, bad, and the ugly. We've heard it all. So what we'll do now is Lucy, just wanted to just give a quick little summary. I know you've given me your blurb as to all about you. Did you want me to do that, or did you want to give a bit of background to yourself?
I can do that.
Yep, really quickly.
So I am in my 9th year of principalship and my second school. So I was 6 years at Stanley Bay and 3 years at Milford School. Before that, I was deputy principal at Auckland Intermediate. I'm also currently president for Auckland Principals as well. So strong into network leadership. That's me in a nutshell.
And having worked with Lucy, I know that she's got a ton of experience, real empathy with her staff and her students, and she runs a jolly good school. So we're really pleased to have you here. We have only got 10 minutes left, and I said that I would give the 15 to the Q&A session. So what I might do is just open it up now for any questions for any of the panel members. You are most welcome to flick them through now, and I'll open up. Is it open, Lauren, the question? Yep. Okay. So far we have no questions, so we can keep asking Lucy a question unless some come up in the chat box. So Lucy, was there a turning point when the study that you did gave you the confidence or the clarity and the tools to maybe step up as a leader?
Absolutely. I started doing my master's when I was deputy principal. I think I'd been a deputy for about maybe 6-7 years, and I was looking for the next step up into principalship. I had applied for several positions unsuccessfully, and I started my master's. And I think what it gave me clarity around different leadership styles. And it gave me the confidence to develop my own leadership style rather than trying to, I guess, emulate other leaders who I had worked with. It gave me the confidence to, and the knowledge and the skills to work out who I was as a leader. And in doing that, it gives you the confidence to lead in a very authentic way.
Did the study that you did, I mean, obviously that would have given you the theory of what leadership styles are. Did you practice, in terms of actually establishing where your style sat, was that something that you changed as you went through your study, or you sort of had a thought that this is my style is, like it'll be a collaborative style of leadership or distributive style? How did you manage that?
I think it adapted and changed as the more I got into leadership, the more it changed and adapted. And I also realized that through the study that your leadership style is so dependent on the day of the week or what's happening in your kura at the time. And there are sometimes you need to step into that very bang, bang, bang kind of role. But the majority of the time, I would describe myself as a servant leadership, serving our community and our tamariki. So I guess it's understanding from that study how to flex between the different leadership styles as well, in order to get the best out of your team, but in order to lead the school to where you want to go as well. Sorry, I forgot the question after all that. I went round.
No, that's okay. I was actually going to test you and ask you who the theorist was, but I won't.
Okay,
we have got one question, and Sela, I'm going to ask you to answer this because you've been the most recently graduated, and it's from Stephen. And Stephen's asking, is the study more assignments or exams? Where you did your study at Academy EX, didn't you? So the question is it assignments or exams, and it is done through online modules, quizzes, etc. So did you want to just give us your thoughts on how you managed that, what it looked like?
Yes, it's more assignments and essays, and then the final paper was a research. So it's more like you direct your learning. Yeah.
That's a good question, because the masters here is very, very different to what you might experience in other organisations. It is practice-based, which means that your assignment is totally done in your project.
Yes, that's right. I did mine with you guys, with EX Academy, and it was basic, and that's what I like about it, that everything is hands-on and in your own context. Whatever the problem that you want to solve or deal with is here in your context.
And online, Sela, you had was all online, wasn't it?
Yes, we did online, but sometimes we came to face-to-face, so it's a mix. Yeah.
So at the end of the Q&A session, which will be in about 10 minutes, we have got Lisa coming on, and Lisa is the enrolments person that works at Academy EX, and so she will answer any questions around structure and organisation. So Stephen, I hope that answers it for the moment, and we can certainly give you more detail towards the end of the session. Steph.
I seem to remember, Sela, that you were going to do it through a different organisation initially. And then when I talked with Sela, because I have studied through Unitec, Auckland Uni and Academy X, or Mindlab as it was. And I just kind of said, oh, well, some of the institutions are more theoretical, and it's still great. But the ones I've enjoyed the most and got the most out of is where it's theory plus practice.
Yes.
And like Sela said, in your own setting. Really.
Yeah, I took your advice.
Yeah.
How did you find the assignments, managing assignments, Lucy?
To be honest, easier than I thought. Actually, when I did mine, I started off doing one paper at a time because I was working as a DP at the time, full time, and all the rest of it. But actually after the first semester, I increased that and did 2 or 3 papers at a time. You're going to ask me what level the papers are, and I can't remember, to be honest. I think, yeah, I wouldn't like to say, but no, I actually found it all right. And I think the other thing is, if you're enjoying what you're doing, it doesn't feel like extra or work. And I also enjoyed that when I was doing assignments, you could relate it to your real life context at work. You could make all those little connections that you do. Here's the theory, and here's what it looks like in practice. So I found it very manageable with working full time and with a young family. You enjoy what you do. It's not a chore. So yeah.
Great answer. Great answer. Thanks, Lucy. We have one more. No, we have no more questions. So what I will do now is I'm going to conclude by asking a finishing off question to the 3 panel members, and then I'm going to pass over to Lisa to share a little bit about how you can study and what it will look like. So Steph, we're going to start with you. And it's the same question to all 3 panel members. What's something that you wish someone had said to you earlier in your career?
Oh yeah, maybe don't take it so seriously. I know it's a serious job. It is a serious job, and and I think we do that. We really care for our kids and our community and our staff, and therefore you put everything in. But sometimes you've got to remember to look after yourself and your family and friends as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's and it was a very wise person that told you that too.
It's remembering to do it.
Sela, what is something that's someone you wish someone had told you earlier on in your career?
2 things that came to mind. First of all, as a Pacifica woman in education, I wish someone had said to me earlier that your culture is your strength and not something you leave at the door. I felt, often felt the pressure to fit into a system that didn't always reflect who I am and where I come from. But I thought I had to lead like others to be taken seriously. But I've learned that the most powerful leadership comes from being grounded in who you are.
Yeah, that's a very authentic answer, Sela. Thank you. And yeah, I'm sure that you're very well grounded, very well versed and certainly professionally competent. So yeah, it's a great answer. Lucy, what is something that you wish someone had said to you earlier on in your career?
I think for me, it's okay not to have all the answers, and that true leadership, it's not about being perfect. It's actually about being present and being absolutely committed to continuously learning. And through that, you have an authenticity about your leadership. So yeah, you won't have all the answers. And I'm sure Steph and Sela will agree that, it doesn't matter how many years you've been doing it, you definitely don't have the answers, and that's okay. And accepting that that's okay as well. And I guess the other thing I think I wish I had learnt years ago is say yes more often than you say no. Take the risk, say yes, then figure out how you're going to do it. And really put yourself out there. Yeah.
That's really, really interesting, because before you came on, Lucy, that was what Steph had said, that the best piece of advice she got was to say yes. So you've obviously been trained by someone who knows what they're talking about, for sure. But Lucy, that what you've shared with us really does show that you are continuing to learn and be a learner alongside your staff, not above your staff, but alongside your staff, and that certainly is something that is the pillar of a leader in a school. Panel members, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you. It's 4:15 and I said we would be out the school gate by then. I'm just going to give 1 minute. We started a little bit later, so I am going to let Lisa speak for 1 minute about the programs that we have on offer here. So Lisa, if you'd like to come on now and unmute yourself.
Kia ora. Thank you. Really, really briefly and quickly, Academy EX, the Mind Lab, is non-traditional, but really, really practical. So a couple of the programs that may be of interest is we do a postgrad certificate in digital and collaborative learning, contemporary skills, but just as much changing how you teach, collaboration and leadership. And that is the first third of our Master of Contemporary Education. And the main focus of that Masters is a change project of your choice. So it could be your school focus, your passion. It's up to you. We'll walk alongside you to get that thing done. Really briefly, because the question was asked, the format. So the Masters is in 3 parts. The first part can be our postgrad. The second part is looking at what might be your project, the research, ethics and more. And the third part is you implementing that change project. So the ripples of benefit to the school, the students, the community go far and wide. We have intake coming up in August for the postgrad and the Masters. So if you have any questions, please reach out. The postgrad can be done completely online, should you choose, and the Masters, there are a couple of face-to-face days a year. The rest can be done all online, and all our programs are built for those working full-time. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Lisa. And Lisa's contact details are on the screen. Finally, again, just a big roundup of saying, you know, these people, Sela, Steph and Lucy have given up time after school, and I'm sure they've got lots of other things that are sitting on their desk, board reports, analysis of variance, all those sorts of exciting things that they've got to do that are still sitting there. So really appreciate your time, and I do hope we can do it again, because it actually was really lovely just hearing from people in, you know, on the ground and hearing exactly what your journey looked like. So paki paki, a really big thank you from me, and we will see you again shortly. Ka kite.
Good day.